There's nothing like a fast horse to turn a young feller's head. And way back in 1887, it was fast horses that lured 10-year-old Cam Camblin from southeast Nebraska to Kansas. A quick, fearless, willing, and capable lad can be mighty handy around a racetrack. So Cam had no trouble finding a home there for a few years. No better equine college exists, and probably no better crash course in human nature and self-preservation. So by the time he drifted to Wyoming territory on the wind of a coming storm, Cam's 5-year tenure at the tracks had made a man of him, as well as a savvy horseman. Gunmen were being imported to the territory by wealthy, powerful stockmen. And war simmered on the horizon. That one of the most powerful of these men should hire a young teenage boy for his personal bodyguard tells us a lot about the lad, Cam Camblin. Along with being his bodyguard, Cam also cowboyed for W.C. Irvine and stayed with the outfit for 8 years. The Keyline brothers, who headquartered at the 4J Ranch and ran hundreds of horses and over 30,000 each of cows and sheep, quickly hired him to break horses and cowboy. That's where Cam was privileged to work alongside and learn from the legendary Mexican John, summering with him at the Hoe Creek Camp on Hoe Springs, southwest of Gillette, and wintering further north on Barber Creek during his 6-year tenure at Keylines. Cam figured 1906 was a good year to go in business for himself, utilizing his teamster expertise to fill a major need by freighting between ranches and small communities. When roundup outfits were needing a cook, he'd take time off the road to keep a bunch of hardworking cowhands happy, as only a great cook can do. He also took younger brother Tut under his wing with the freighting and other draft horse work, and when a railroad spur came through from Casper heading for Forsyth, Montana, the boys and their teams were needed at good wages. A young feller who gets around the country like Cam just can't help noticing the few pretty girls out there, and Christina Ziegler over on the old Frank Smith place caught his eye pretty quick after her family came to the country from South Dakota's Bad River. Unfortunately, the first Wyoming winter claimed the lives of Christina's parents. So she had to make a hand taking care of a bunch of horses and some cows, along with raising a bunch of younger siblings. The hard railroad labor must have been the catalyst to inspire Cam's caretaking instincts, because before the boys got the railroad to Buffalo, he rode up to Tut early one morning and said, "Railroading is decent wages, but too slow work for me. I've been looking over there at those Punkin Buttes for the past few days, and I think I'll go see how that pretty Chrissy Camblin is doing. Christy Ziegler is doing, taking care of those kids in that band of horses. She might need a little help." Evidently she did, because she became Mrs. Cam Camblin in October of 1913. The same day her sister Hattie married Cottonwood Creek rancher Will Vonberg. They all honeymooned in Buffalo at the fashionable Occidental Hotel. The ranch and the horses flourished, with Cam constantly improving the herd with new blood. The thoroughbred stud from Kentucky infused both speed and agility, so the horses were even sought for polo ponies back east. The Camblin outfit was further enlarged by 8 fine kids. That's a lot of mouths to feed, so Cam supplemented their horse sales income by continuing to freight at times. His cowboy prowess was also widely known, so it was not unusual for big ranchers and roundup outfits to hire him on for some of the tougher jobs. Cam remembered top hand and Keyline ranch foreman George Amos sending for him one time when several roundups met near Greasewood Lake on the Belle Fourche River. Thousands of head of cattle needed to be sorted, and Amos knew Cam's skill working herd and reading brands. Only the two of them would be in the herd to cut. Cam saddled his gelding Kid, the best cutting horse he ever owned, and George rode his favorite gray, Snowball. Brands couldn't be read till good light, which was fortunate since Cam had to saddle up and cover 15 miles of country from the Buttes to the Greasewood by then. At sundown, the sort was done, and Kid packed Cam home, where he got a double portion of oats after being unsaddled. Guilty for having asked and received the tremendous heart and try, Kid forked over during that monumental day. Cam retired him then and there. He sure didn't cut himself that kind of slack, though, later accepting the huge responsibility of Keyline Brothers' final roundup, during which the Punkin Butte served as a pivot point, with all Keyline cattle found ranging northward trailed to Ucross to ship. All grazing to the east trailed to Moorcroft and shipped there. Those who liked it better south of the Buttes went to the Orpha railhead near Douglas, and all cattle found west of the Buttes were trailed to the Powder River shipping point. It was a high honor. The Keyline brothers trusted that massive gather to Cam, and possibly an even greater honor that hands like George Amos and Mexican John had recommended him. Kids and horses can't survive on honor, though, and Cam collected $2 for each bull and $1 for each cow shipped for Keylines during that work, and that bought a lot of groceries and winter feed. When Keylines loaded Cam in a railroad caboose and sent him to the Chicago stockyards with their yearly shipment of steers, he respected their trust to the extent of putting the cash in a suitcase, handcuffing that to his wrist. He said he kept the suitcase on his lap with his other pistol pack in hand on top of it the entire trip, knowing that was more money than most people would ever see in a lifetime. Along with being a consummate cowboy and horseman, Cam Camblin was an excellent stock hand, always deeply respected by the powerful owners he worked for, the top hands he rode and worked with, everyone he had business dealings with, and most of all, his neighbors. A loving father who reared 8 children with Christina, Cam's door was always open to anyone having a hard time or needing help. This Hall of Fame cowboy had a unique perception of Wyoming ranching because he'd experienced both sides of the controversial fence, big landowner, small cattle owner. He worked for, rode alongside of, and was respected by many of the most influential men in the ranching history of Wyoming Territory and Wyoming. Edwin, Earl, Campbell, 1877-1950.